welcome to my new video. So you want to know how to change your IP addresses, right? You want to rotate them, you want to switch IP addresses to different locations constantly. That's the thing that hackers use, this kind of tool. And this kind of tool that I'm going to show you is a tool I made. It's called PyTor IP Changer. So it's Python based script, so that means it's in Python based code, as you can see. I'm gonna explain it in this code in detail pretty quickly for you to understand it, how it works. But before I do that, I'm gonna explain to you how to install it, how to make it work, and also how to then make your settings for networking settings in, for example, Firefox or whatever a web device or web search engine you use, right? How to run the script. Basically what you have to do to install it is you have to clone this repository over here. Okay, copy that, go to terminal, whatever you're using. So once again, it's only Linux based programs, so it's only gonna work on Linux programs, right? It won't work on Windows or Mac because it's not based for those kind of operating systems. It's only Linux one. So I'm suggesting, or you're probably right now, if you're watching this video, already using Linux, since everybody that is ethical hacking or any kind of programming in general uses Linux most of the time. So as you can see, I'm using Kali Linux, but you're probably going to be using any kind of Linux that can be Ubuntu or whatever. We're going to get there, right? So as I told you, what you need to do is you need to go to clone this repository. You need to click over here on the terminal. So you need to go to terminal now. You need to paste that. It's literally just copy paste, right? So this is git clone. You're gonna clone that, then you're gonna enter it, right? So let's gonna do that. PyTor IP Changer is cloning. That's it, right? Now as you can see, it's already into PyTor IP Changer, right? Because we cd that. So now what you need to do is you can literally just copy once again this one, all right? You need to sudo that. Why sudo, right? Because this program asks you to enter from administrator position. That is sudo command, right? Then you have Python 3. That's the way you're gonna open this program using Python 3, right? That's why I suggest you, before you do this, to already have Python 3 installed. If you don't have Python 3 installed, you can see that my script, as you can see by requirements, the script automatically installs any necessary dependencies such as curl, tor, and requests, right? So these things, even if you don't have them installed, inside of my code, it's gonna install it for yourself, right? So you don't have to worry about it. It's gonna be done in your terminal and you won't even see it, right? Because it's gonna be silenced. But Python 3, on the other hand, you have to install it by yourself. If you don't have it installed, I suggest you once again to copy this, as I put it on my GitHub. You just need to copy this. You need to go to terminal. So before we do this sudo or start a program, you might want to install Python 3, right? And then click enter. But since I already have it, I don't want to do it right now, right? So I'm just gonna do this thing, right? So sudo Python 3 PyTor py. Alright, this is how you start a program. So remember, before you start a program, you first need to enter it using cd, right? You need to enter the directory, the file, right? By using cd command first. After you do that, you can see that you in ls have readme file, you have PyTor py, and you have requirements, right? It's all in there in that file. You need to enter that file first before you can use the sudo python 3 pytor.py command, right? Now let's enter, right? Then you need to enter your administrator password, your sudo password, right? After you do that, it's gonna start the program, as you can see. So first thing, you're gonna see this ASCII art that I made, so you can look more like professional, whatever. You can see my nickname over here. Never mind that. enter the time interval in seconds. Like a lot of this IP changer programs, as you can see, there is this auto IP changer, there's that green something, I'm not sure, changer, a lot of them. One is using bash, the other is using I think Python too, but it's different code. I'm gonna explain you why my code is different from those other ones. Okay, it pretty much works the same, especially with this type 0 for infinite IP changes. So yeah, most of the time you want to use this infinite IP change because you won't have to think about it most of the time. It's going to be pretty simple and it's going to change on itself and it's constantly going to change. But if you want to do it yourself, like to enter time interval in seconds, that means if you enter, for example, 10, every 10 seconds the program is going to change your IP address in that time zone, right? So for now, let's just go with infinity IP changes. I want to show you how that works. Enter number of times to change IP address. Right, you can enter like amount of times you want to change it. So we can, for example, once again put 10. It's just only going to change 10 times. It's going to stay on the last one, right? Then it's not going to change anymore. So you can literally put 10 and 10. So that means the time interval is going to be in 10 seconds. Every 10 seconds, the IP is going to change 10 times, right? After those 10 seconds, after those 10 times, it's over. It won't be changing anymore. But once again, I'm telling you, if you want to use this for a while, or if you really want to do something to make sure your privacy is connected, your IP is not seenable, and you're using Tor for that, then I suggest you should just go with the 00 or the infinity IP change, right? So we're gonna press that one once again, starting infinite IP changes. Let's see, new IP address. As you can see, it says whatever that address is. It says city is Kunlun, region none, it's in Antarctica, right? So it's using Antarctica IP address, for example, whatever. But believe me or not, I can suggest you surely that I'm not in Antarctica right now, okay? So yeah, this does work. Now new IP address. Alright, this is what I wanted to tell you about. See this arrow, failed to retrieve location data. It basically means it's using some IP address that is working, that is workable. It just means that it cannot retrieve location data because I have a special site that my program is redirected to find and retrieve location data from that IP address. So sometimes you're gonna see that error thing, but don't worry, that IP is still working. New IP address we can see right now is Brandenburg, Germany. Nice city, been there, but I can tell you I'm not there. So this stole the new IP address once again, okay? And these are workable. I'm gonna show you how they are workable, right? So let's just keep this working. Now we're in Amsterdam, so let's just keep on working with this IP address. But if you wanna make that work for, I don't know, Firefox, for example, right? For your web browser, what you need to do is you need to go to settings, right? So I already have them prepared, but let me show you. So you go right here, right, settings, you go in general, you go to settings on network settings, right? It's important. Now you have no proxy option and you have manual proxy configuration, right? So out of all this four, you might just want to click on this one and you might want to enable this one. So manual, what I mean by manual, it means that you need to put your port on port 9050 and SOX5 has to be on, right? So don't put SOX5, put SOX4, put SOX5. Also, I suggest you that you enter SOX host into this one, right? This is the classic one you want to put on. So yeah, this is basically what you need to do, and then afterwards this also, just in case, DNS when using SOX5, it's domain name system, but that doesn't matter anymore. Just put this statistics like I did, right? Click OK, and now, right, we just enable it, right? The network settings are done. Enter IP address location, right? You want to see if it works. Now we're gonna wait. You see, it's gonna be slower because you're using the other IP address. So that's the first good sign that it probably does work if it's super slow. but not super slow, just slower than usual, right? It's the same stuff that will happen if you use the Tor browser. Tor browser does the same thing. IP address lookup geolocation. Let's see. Alright, so we entered the IP address lookup for this IP address I'm using. So as you can see right now, I'm in United States, in California and San Francisco, right? I can see the longitude, but believe it or not, this latitude and longitude usually doesn't mean the exact location you're at. It's like the common latitude and longitude of San Francisco in the middle most of the time. So don't think that your IP address can locate right where you're at. That's stupid stuff. Yeah, that's about it. So as you can see, it does work. Alright guys, now it's my favorite part of this video. So we're gonna go all in depth and I'm gonna tell you everything's what you need to know about this code. Now if you remember at the beginning of the video I told you I'm going to explain you why did I program this in Python. Well, basically it's just because of the modifications, right? I can like make it even much better. If you guys have any suggestions, I already have a few plans on my mind, to be honest, but I'll tell you that at the end of this part what I'm gonna implement more. So let's start. So first we're gonna start with imports. Imports, as you see, OS, sys, time, subprocess, random, sockets, requests. Okay, OS and sys, these two are for system level tasks, like checking the root and exiting. Right, each of these has its own purpose. Time and random are for sleep delays. Subprocess is running system commands, like in terminal, of course, and of course requests to make HTTP requests on the site where I'm gonna fetch up the data about location of IPs. So this first, as you can see, is just OSCE intro. It's just art at the beginning, not that big of a deal. This thing, if OS get you ID, right? So basically what this does is it tells you that this script must be run as root. If it's not running root, it's gonna exit the program. So you can see this in practice. You would usually go with sudo, right? But right now we're not gonna do that, since I want to show you how this works without the administrator permissions for my program. So what my program is gonna do is, if you don't go with sudo, if you just go with python 3 pytor.py, what's gonna happen is it's basically gonna tell you this script must be run as root, exiting the program, right? You won't be able to enter it. So what you need to do is you'll need to enter the program with your sudo permissions, right? With administrator permissions. So yeah, you're gonna enter your password and then boom, it's gonna start working. Install dependencies. So it's basically what's gonna happen is it's gonna do the process in terminal. It runs apt-get for maybe in Ubuntu, yum for CentOS, Red Hat, Fedora, and Pacman for Arch. So in case you use any of these, it's gonna know which one you use by installing the dependencies you need for each of these distros. First it's gonna check your distro, then it's gonna install whatever is needed for your program to work. Okay, and when I say that what's gonna need to install, it's gonna be curl to fetch IPs, like I told you, and Tor, of course, for the service of staying anonymous. This is check dependencies. Basically, it checks if curl and Tor are installed. If they are not installed, it calls install dependencies. So if you don't have these, it's gonna install it for yourself. And then this big boy is gonna work our thing. Okay. Next one is start Tor function. Basically, use the system CTL to check if Tor service is running. So it's gonna check if your Tor service is on, and if it's not active, it starts the Tor service. Okay, so basically it just does that. Alright, so next function is get IP. This thing, it connects to this link, as you can see, using SOX5 proxy over Tor. So that's why I told you, if you remember, that you need to put on SOX5 in the network settings. I had a reason for it. And also it gets current Tor exit nodes public IP, right? So yeah, this get IP function is important because that's what you're gonna use in this one, right? Change IP function. Basically, what change IP function does, it rolls the Tor service. Okay, wait 5 seconds for Tor to stabilize. You have time sleep of 5. As you can see, we put a new IP equal to get IP, so we put a get IP function inside, and then you can see it prints your new IP, and at the end we have show IP location function with the new IP one. So I'm gonna explain that function below after this one. So what this function show IP location does, It sends request to ipuppy.co, and that's the site that I use. So when I told you that those errors happen, sometimes it happens because request probably wasn't good, or it showed the error to 200, and that's why the error happens. Okay, so if it didn't fetch IP, I mean the location of IP, the IP is already fetched, then the error 200 or filter or retrieve location data happens. So it gets you the URL of that site, you put it, and then from that you get a response, and the response you can see the location from that site, which says which city is in, which region the IP is in, and the country name where IP is located. Right, next function is define change IP loop. This is the most important function in this program because it's basically the body of it. It asks you for time interval. As you can see, it asks you for a number of times that IP is going to be changed, and both can be set for 0, like I already told you, for infinite looping. I already explained that. If you didn't enter correctly, it's just going to say please enter valid numbers. So it's going to get you back to entering that correctly. If 0 or interval equals to 0 or times equals to 0, if 0 is entered, it's going to start your infinite IP change. That's the thing you're mostly going to use. And while it's true, it's going to change your IP. The sleep time is set to 1020, and it's going to change your IP by infinite number of times. Else, for I range of times, it's just going to change your IP, and time.sleep is going to equal to interval that you entered. Okay. Except keyboard import. This is basically, for whatever reason, interrupted in any way, just gonna exit and leave the program, but with a message. This is the main part that I put it as a main because it basically functions in order that needs to go one by one, and that's about it, guys. Yeah, once again, guys, this is just for educational purpose. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like, or leave whatever you want, I don't mind. It's just that I want to make this program useful for you guys. Hope you enjoyed it once again, and see you in the next video. Bye.